Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Finance, why did he say that the gap between the rich and poor is, quote, about the same as a result of Budget 2010?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, because on a range of measures it is about the same, the budget made sure that low, middle and higher income earners receive roughly the same proportionate increase in income. This was achieved by tax cuts that more than offset any rise in GST at all income levels, compensation for those who receive government support, and a series of revenue-raising measures which impact predominantly on high-income earners.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
How can the gap between rich and poor remain the same when a family of 4 children in Mangere will face additional childcare costs of around $100 a week, plus a hike in power charges, groceries, transport, etc., of around 6%, while someone on $1 million a year gets $1,000 a week back in tax cuts?
How is that fair?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, as I said, the budget package did switch tax from direct to indirect tax, and we made sure that right across the income scale, the income tax cuts are larger than the impact of GST increases on those families. The people who pay more out of the budget package are smokers, the overseas owners of New Zealand assets, and anyone who invests in property. That's who pays more.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
To the Minister, how can he say that the gap between rich and poor is about the same as a result of the budget when the wealthiest 1/20th of New Zealanders get almost 1/3 of the tax back?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, at least two-thirds of the cost of the income tax package went on lowering the bottom 2 rates of income tax. For those who are on lower incomes, the best news in the budget is 170,000 new jobs that will provide new jobs for those people who have lost their jobs and job security for New Zealanders who are concerned about it. And most New Zealanders share the government's point of view that the budget is good for the economy.
David Bennett.
Supplementary question to the Minister of Finance. How will the benefits of Budget 2010 tax changes alter through time?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, there's been some discussion about the future gains for taxpayers. For example, an average wage earner will immediately be about $15 a week better off after GST in October 2010. By 2014, using Treasury's forecasts for wages and prices, the amount that taxpayer has gained will have risen to around $1,000 a year or $20 per week. That is, the longer we apply the forecasts as a result of this tax package, the better the average wage earner is going to be. This will be the case for most households, with the gains from the tax package getting bigger as their incomes rise.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, given that Treasury Secretary Whitehead had pre-cleared with the Prime Minister his comments on Q&A that 15% GST was just a first step, and since GST is a regressive tax that leaves hard-working Kiwis worse off, how will raising GST further narrow the gap between rich and poor?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the changes in GST are part of a package of measures which will lift the growth rate of this economy and provide 170,000 new jobs. And if the member knows one...
Point of order,
Mr Speaker. The Minister well knows the budget documents ascribe only 6% of that change to his budget.
Order. The member mustn't... Order. No, I'm on my feet and members... Order! But the member mustn't use point of order in that manner. If he disagrees with an answer the Minister is giving, the member should question him further with a further supplementary. Had the Minister finished his answer? Are we ready? Catherine Delahunty.
To the Minister, kia ora te whare, talofa lava mo lelei soifua. Does he agree that more equal societies produce better health and education outcomes for people across all income brackets?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I understand that is a hypothesis put forward by some. It may be correct, certainly one of the keys to equality in any society is that people can get jobs, because the poorest people in any society are those who don't have jobs. That is why the government has a strong focus on creating new jobs and a stronger economy, and the budget delivers about 170,000 new jobs over the next 4 years.
Point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Speaker, I apologise for not doing this earlier, but I seek leave to table a report from the OECD that showed income distribution and poverty reducing under the term of the previous Labor government.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. Is it point of order? Order. A point of order is being called. The Honourable
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to
order.
I seek leave to table a transcript of the Q&A interview by the Treasury Secretary in which he advocates on behalf of the government raising GST.
This is a recent television program, as I understand it. Members have seen that. There's no need to go down that course of action. David Garrett, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I apologise. Further point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table OECD research which shows the type of tax policy changes employed by the government increase income inequality.
Leave is sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is objection. David Garrett, supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Talofa lava malo le soifua. Is the Minister surprised that after Labor's 9 years, when low-income suburbs were left infested with criminal activity, where large proportions of children left school illiterate and innumerate, and where the tax burden on all workers steadily rose, that the underclass continued to grow and remains a problem to this day?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the key to opportunity for many of the New Zealanders that the member describes is that they can get a job. And that is why, as much as policy as possible that the government is implementing, focuses on getting businesses to create new jobs, because there are no new jobs until a business decides to invest and to take the risk. And that's why the budget encourages 170,000 new jobs.
Before I call question number 4, could I just ask Honourable Ruth Dyson if she's going to conduct a little mini conference, not to do it in the chamber during question time. Question number 4, Tim McIndoe.
Talofa lava, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister